like I'm actually really excited for the Nintendo Switch because I think it's Nintendo being Nintendo different, like how they always are, which is not bad at all. And they are finding the middle ground between being different, yet giving the core gamers what they want finally. After being so different for so long, they're finally starting to come back to earth, I feel like.
Yeah, I actually agree with you a lot there. They're finally bridging that gap between trying to do something that's not just, hey, here's a console with some upgraded hardware from the last one and a controller. Hopefully you buy ours over the over the other guy because of our first party titles.
No, something that makes no sense to me is when people tell me, "Oh, well, I don't like the Nintendo NX because it's not like my PlayStation 4, it's not like my Xbox One, and it's too gimmicky." Okay, first off, it's not gimmicky because it does something different. I don't say that. I don't see that as being gimmicky. To me, gimmicky is relying on the difference and making it to where you're forcing third-party developers to do stuff with that difference. No, this is just, hey, like the biggest thing about this is it's a hybrid between the console and a handheld.
Yes. Yep.
And
that was so cool to me, actually, watching the trailer.
I think it would be, honestly, a suicidal move by any company to try and enter the market at this point that is just like the PS4 and Xbox One. Because how many gamers do you know, gamers, air quotes, have already a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One? So if Nintendo was to come out with something that's just slightly more powerful than a PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, tell me why somebody would buy it. Tell me why I would buy it. Tell me why you would buy it. There would be no reason, because you already have it. I mean, why spend $350 or however much the Switch is rumored to cost to buy what you already have just to play Nintendo games? Don't get me wrong, I love my Mario. I love my Zelda. But I'm not going to pay $350 just to play those. That makes no sense. Like I could just pop in Sunshine for the GameCube and be just as happy. Or Galaxy for the Wii. Or I can go back and play Super Mario All-Stars and be just as happy.
In a way. I don't think for Nintendo it would be complete suicide to do something like that.
It'd be stupid.
Well, you see, I mean, the only thing that keeps me from choosing between like the PS4 and the Xbox One is the first-party titles for the two, and I genuinely lean towards the Sony first-party titles over the Xbox One. I'm just not a big Gears of War or Halo fan, and a lot of the Insomniac and Naughty Dog games appeal to me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Nintendo would do that same thing to me, I think, if that makes sense. Like, you have Mario, Zelda. I mean, you can just ring off millions of titles. I mean, and that's the only thing that was selling me on the Wii U was the first-party titles. And imagine if they had that same hardware. I do agree that it'd be really cool if they were able to get that hardware onto also a cool niche item. I mean, this is basically what they're doing with the Switch in my eyes, is they are upgrading the hardware to a point that is going to be reasonably close to the Xbox One and PS4.
Some developers have already said it's better than the PS4. Like, that's some of the rumors.
The old PS4. The newer one that they're coming out with, it's going to be like
PS4 Pro.
Yeah. Is it called the Pro?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it's going to be kind of like on par with the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One S, I believe they're calling it. Yeah, so, I mean, they're supposed to be like on par. I think it's supposed to be a little bit weaker, but it's understandable because, I mean, this thing's literally a tablet, essentially.
Pretty much,
which is ridiculously impressive to me. That's the only thing that I'm a little worried about with it, in all honesty, is, like, I don't know how they're going to pack this hardware into this tablet. It seems almost unreasonable to be able to do it, but, I mean, if they're able to, that'll be really impressive to me. It'll be really cool.
Do you think that with the Switch coming out, and with it being more normalized, and with all the companies that have already signed on to the Switch, even though, I mean, with the Wii U, they had a lot of companies signed on in the beginning as well, do you think this is their bridge? This is almost like I'm sorry, we're normal again, come back to us letter for the third-party developers, and do you think it's going to work?
I think it's a little hard to say right now. They did show, like, NBA 2K17 and Skyrim in their trailer, even though neither one were confirmed.
Oh, yeah, the very next day, Bethesda said, yo, just so you know, this isn't confirmed. But the fact that they used it is almost like saying, I mean, we're working on it, but if it doesn't work, don't kill us.
Yeah, I think that is basically what he was saying. It's hard to say whether Nintendo was like, hey, don't officially announce this yet. We're just putting in our trailer as a teaser or something. I'm not sure what the marketing would be behind that, why they would want to do something like that, but I've heard speculations that they told both to like the NBA or what is it, the 2K company, and Bethesda themselves to release a statement saying that it wasn't official. and both statements looked really similar. Like Nintendo was like, "Say this," almost. You know what I'm saying? They were oddly similar.
They have been very, very hush hush, secret, quiet. But yeah, I agree because Nintendo didn't even say anything about the fact that they dropped that Mario game and that new Mario Kart. Don't think you got away with that without me seeing it. And the new Splatoon, and they didn't say a single word. They just showed it. So I can see where you're coming from with that.
It's a little odd. I just think that they don't want anything to be officially announced until they are ready to come out.
They don't want anything to be known.
Official.
Yeah, Nintendo is really relying on secrecy right here. Another thing, one of the third-party developers I saw on the list was Square Enix. Square Enix is not. Square Enix, in my mind, I'm looking at it right now, has not developed a game for a Nintendo console. I don't know about handhelds. I don't rock the handhelds. But for a Nintendo console, since the Nintendo GameCube, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles. It's been that long ago.
That's insanity.
Like, I'm taking a look at my collection, and I do not see a single Square Enix game for the Wii. There was no Square Enix game for the Wii U. Square Enix, of course, is known for magnificent RPGs. And, they even worked alongside Nintendo for Super Mario Secret of the Seven Stars. Super Mario RPG.
That old one.
So Nintendo and Square Enix, they're not on bad terms or anything. What do you think about this? Do you think we could see maybe even a Final Fantasy come to Nintendo? Like an actual Final Fantasy? Not a Final Fantasy Chronicles, but a Final Fantasy, first one since Final Fantasy 3 for the Super Nintendo, that era, come to a Nintendo home console?
I mean, I would kind of hope so. I would hope that the next Final Fantasy that comes out would be multi-plat with the Nintendo Switch and the other consoles, because then that would kind of make it a little bit more solid. It'd be like, yeah, we are just as competitive as these guys. Look, we get all the multi-plat games too, almost. But I think what would be really cool is if they teamed with Square Enix and made something that was honed in on what the Switch can do that the other consoles don't. RPG-wise, almost.
Well, what can it do? I mean, that's when you get into the dangerous water of being gimmicky. That's when you get into the dangerous water of, oh, cool, I just created Fallout 3, and now I got to make it for the Wii U, so I got to make it with touchscreen capability.
No, but the thing is I don't think you have to. You don't have to do it, but it's an option, and if I think Nintendo wanted to really partner with Enix and do something special, I think that would be something cool that the Switch would have over any of the other consoles, too. As long as they could still keep getting just complete, third-party support. Online. I think the online for Nintendo consoles has been atrocious.
I was just about to bring that up.
It has been so bad. Like, I enjoyed Splatoon. It was fantastic. It was so much fun. And, there was no server lag or anything like that. Like, with the Wii, the server lag was just god-awful with any online game on that console. Totally fixed with the Wii. What sucked with the Wii was, like, the friend system was just really bad.
Friend codes and stuff, yeah.
The friend codes were annoying.
Which leads into my
chatting to friends to add them into games and stuff was, like, it didn't integrate very well. It was kind of awkward to invite friends into a game of Splatoon. I mean, it worked, but it was just a little awkward to do it, in all honesty. And the fact that there still isn't a chat system is just mind-blowing.
Okay, so this is that leads into the section I want to talk about right here. I predict that the Nintendo Switch will be immensely successful, but only if it hits on these calibers. Please add some if you think, take away some if you think. It needs to. It's a system seller, so it needs to have Call of Duties. It needs to have the Maddens. It needs to have those games, and it needs to have those games to be taken seriously. Not Modern Warfare, or fucking
World at War on the Wii was just such a joke.
Stuff like that, no. Any Call of Duty game for the Wii or Wii U, it was just terrible. No, make it serious and make it real. Madden, it needs to have the Maddens. Those are system sellers too. You need to, as much as pure gamers hate to talk about it, Call of Duties and Maddens, those games they sell. Nintendo to be taken seriously again by that core audience needs to have those games on there and not altered in a way just for the Nintendo Switch. No, and
the Battlefields too.
Battery life on the gamepad, that needs to be a good thing. It needs to be reasonable.
That's one thing I was wondering.
I'm not saying make it last 32 hours. No, but it needs to be reasonable. 8 to 12 in my opinion, and that's cutting it. That's bare minimum. It needs to have, as you said, it needs to have better online functionality. I want Nintendo to have an Xbox Live, to have a PlayStation Network. I mean, I don't care, Nintendo. Model yourself after your competition in this case. Model yourself after PlayStation Network and Xbox Live.
That was the biggest thing for me. like just the online on Wii U. I just thought it was ridiculous for me to play a game with my friend and talk to them at the same time. I needed to go grab my laptop, set it out on my counter, and open up Skype to be able to talk to you to play Splatoon. How not everybody has that luxury. I mean, it just seems like it's too kid friendly. It's like they're like, we don't want random people adding random people, so we need friend codes. What an extra hassle that is when you meet somebody that you think is cool online that you want to like have as a friend, and you got to sit there and try to exchange friend codes.
Because guess what? If that's not happening, if kids aren't allowed to add their friends on Nintendo consoles, that's why they buy a PS4, and that's why they do it on a PS4, because they can do it on a PS4. They're not being held back by an overprotective mom to her 8-year-old kid, and the mom is still following her around at elementary school.
That was the biggest thing for me. They're like 10 miles behind, basically.
Can I just take a moment here and say how excited I am actually for the fact that it has cartridge? Because you know what that means, baby? There is no download. There is no, oh cool, I just bought this new game. I just bought WWE 2K18. Let me put it in my system, and all right, let me go take a nap. Go to Walmart, wait a couple hours for it to install, and maybe I can get back. Maybe I can get some gameplay in before I got to go back to work tomorrow. I just don't see the cartridges being that issue.
Yeah, and you make...
That was my biggest disappointment with this
generation.
And
it makes sense, actually, to go back to cartridges almost, because I was reading some article on it. I can't remember exact numbers, but it was like the cost for just flash memory, like an SD card or something like that, to be produced with like 64 gigabytes, 120 gigabytes with the data, which is like plenty. It's as much as a Blu-ray disc, and it was only a little bit more than what the Blu-ray disc was. But then you also cut out all the extra bullshit that you were talking about with the download times and like all that stuff. And it actually, like, I think that they were able to hold more memory on SD card.
They are, actually.
Yeah, they were able to hold more memory on SD card for only like a little bit more of the price. Like, it actually just makes sense at this time. Like, the discs for such a long portion made way more sense because it was just unreasonable to fit that much memory.
This isn't the Nintendo 64. This isn't the Nintendo 64 PlayStation era where cartridge is like just crap poopy now. It's gotten better, and I really feel like optical disc drives or whatever.
I mean, even during the Xbox 360 and PS3, you could get like an 8 gigabyte flash drive, but it was still like a big fat flash drive. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now they get these things so small. It's incredible how much memory they can fit in such a small little space.
Yeah.
You don't need these big flash drives anymore.
Yeah.
To do the same thing that you were able to like, and this is only over 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
You know. You still needed the discs. The Blu-ray discs were still way better back then than trying to... And the flash memory costed more back then, too, on top of that. And the Blu-ray discs were just way better. But now that you jump 10 years forward from then, and now it's like flip-flopped completely. We're able to go back to these cartridges, and I think it's actually more reasonable.
Also, just imagine if they were not able to use cartridges for this system, the mobility, the whole...
It actually wouldn't work.
It would not work. Because imagine playing a Blu-ray disc in a portable system.
Well, it was like the PSP almost.
It would be worse than the PSP because it wouldn't have those stupid little optical discs, mini discs or whatever those stupid things were.
It's weird how the PSP worked. I mean, there was still a bunch of problems with it because there's too many rotating. Well, not only loading times. I mean, the loading times kind of make sense because it's really small and the hardware wasn't really quite there yet. But I mean, erase all that. Just all the moving parts in the PSP. And stuff like that to make the disc rotate and the eye to read it and stuff. It's really fragile. Like, it makes you almost not want to just bring it everywhere because if you drop your PSP, be honest with you, it's dead.
Yeah.
Because of all those really fine, small moving parts in there that need to read that disc. You would have that same problem with the Switch if you were using discs. I can almost guarantee if you were to drop that thing once, if it had all those little fine, the eye and all those other, and the spinning part and all those fine moving little things, it would just get destroyed too easily.
Oh yeah.
To make it reasonable. So all right, let's just do a gloss over it. What has you most excited about this? Just quickly.
Wireless connectivity between consoles. I'm hoping for better online.
I mean, nothing's been announced yet, so it's weird. You can't be excited over that.
If Skyrim is true, then that sold me instantly because I want to play Skyrim while I'm taking a poop. Because who wouldn't want to slay a dragon while you're dropping one? I love the controller idea. I love the popping off controller thing, and I love the seamless connectivity between the TV and the handheld console itself. And thank you, Nintendo, for sticking with the gamepad. Throughout all this rumor with the NX, that was my biggest fear, was if Nintendo was going to keep with the gamepad for their next system, and they did. So thank you, Nintendo. You listened to me. I know you did personally, but have my house bugged just to get good ideas from me. Thank you.
Quickly, what I'm excited about, when it showed that reveal trailer for that Splatoon little LAN that they had going on with the big crowd, that was super kick-ass. That had my brain just going. Like, think about how easy it's going to be for even any competitive game. Let's just talk Smash Bros. Let's say if they port over Smash Wii U onto the Switch, how easy it'll be to just bring somewhere and set up for groups to play, to connect together to play. It's not like when you wanted
the wireless connectivity I was talking about. Yeah,
it's like when you wanted to do an actual LAN, like let's say for Counter-Strike, like CSGO, like this is esports that I'm talking about now, like CSGO or League of Legends. It's so hard for just 10 people to grab all their desktops and go somewhere and play a LAN. You know what I mean? Like, you got to have like a ton of setup for it, like a ton of just like power cables to hook up everybody's PC in, monitors, keyboards, mice. It's way more than just literally with this NX. You can grab it and then you can go.
Yep.
And like you can just be like, hey, we're doing a Splatoon tournament today. $5 pay-ins for each team. First team gets all the winnings or whatever, all the earnings. First place gets like 75%. Second place, 25, and then everybody else gets nothing or something. And then just, okay, everybody that has their own Switch, bring it and use it there. There you go. It's so easy. You can so easy to do that. You can
go over to friends' houses, and what are you doing today? Oh, we're all going to play Switch. Oh, on whose TV? On our own. Because that's the console. Boom. Mind blown.
Hey, I would just like to thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. And if you'd like to see more content from us, hitting subscribe or leaving a comment down below with any suggestions on a topic that we could cover would be much appreciated. I'll see you all in the next video.